Hi, welcome back to a new video. Tonight it is time to look at Cciv. Cciv in the past month has seen a lot of action, to be honest. From the highs we are down by around 54%, so things are down significantly. Even from the lows that we were seeing at the beginning of the month, things are still down by around 23%. So, the past month has been unfortunate for this stock. We're seeing a big drop in price. I'm going to talk more about why I think this is in a moment, but I want to talk more about the past week in this, current section just now. So, past week is bringing us up by around 5%. That is relatively flat in my eyes. Yes, it is an increase, don't get me wrong, but of course, in relation to what we have seen previously, it is relatively flat. And of course, with today being once again quite flat, it actually even pointed us to the downside by a very small amount. You have to be asking yourself, is now the time to buy this stock by the dip, or should you avoid it? Well, of course, I am not a financial advisor. I'm sure you already know this, but I'm going to state it again for my safety and, of course, for your safety. So I would recommend you do your own research. But if you may enjoy hearing these opinions, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we talk about all different types of stocks all the time. We make multiple videos a day, and of course each subscriber does help us to spread the awareness of this channel to even more people. But now that I have mentioned that, let us jump into this video looking at Lucid Motors and Cciv and what could happen. Right, so first things first, we're going to take a look at, obviously, Lucid Motors, the company which is merging with Cciv potentially. So, of course, a lot of stuff going on right here. You can see on screen a very interesting looking electric car priced around $69,000. So you can see it is on the more expensive side, but we are still looking at a lot of potential in this sector and, of course, with this company. Electric car SPACs, by the way, are one of the more anticipated ones out there. I could name a few, but we can imagine, from what we have seen in the past, a lot of these electric vehicle SPACs have seen a lot more attention than other SPACs which are in other industries which may or may not, in my opinion, have been better trades. So we can see a lot of attention is in this sector, especially when it comes to electric vehicle SPACs. I think this could boost the price of Cciv going forwards into the future. So a quick thing that I want to take a moment to look at is this information down here from Forbes. This was reported on 2 weeks ago, but that does not really matter in my opinion. It talks about the basic potential of this one having a $22.8 billion revenue by 2026. So again, this one was written only a few weeks ago. I think it definitely still does apply, as right now we are not in 2026. So we are seeing some big things potentially coming for this company. Again, electric cars do have a lot of potential anyway, and this company is very promising. From a hype standpoint, it is one of the more hyped stocks, and that is why I think we have seen this big drop in price in the past month. Now, I know that's going to sound a bit insane to you guys, but please do hear me out on why I think this one plummeted only a few weeks ago. So, of course, we did have the initial hype as people rumoured this one was going to come up, with this merger. Then, of course, we rocketed in price even further as we had a bit of a confirmation of this one coming through. And ever since, we have been falling in price. So, 2 reasons why I think this one has happened. One is quite obvious. Of course, this one rocketed by let's get a percentage on it, by around 68% in like 2 or 3 days. So, it does make sense that it fell off a cliff after that. But on top of that, what we are seeing now is a bit of a sell-off in the market in the past 2-3 weeks, which has brought us down on a lot of stocks. Now again, looking at the position of where this one is at the moment, we are seeing a lot of interest by investors who are not necessarily 100% aware of market conditions. Of course, they see the first drop in price as a sign of bad news and subsequently sell out on their position. Now I think this is another reason which has contributed to the share price dropping, because 1, we were seeing a market dip anyway, and 2, we were seeing people taking profits from the highs that we saw. I think now we're in a much better position because of this one. So looking forwards into the future, I absolutely can see this one being valued extremely highly. I wouldn't even be surprised if we were touching $60 by the end of the year, as once again, a lot of hype is in this one. A lot of people are interested in this one, and like I said, electric cars do get a lot of attention. And if this one does continue to start rocketing, I definitely think it isn't impossible that we could be touching $90, $100 in the next year or 2. So would I be buying this stock right now? Absolutely, I would buy this stock. But the thing is, in my opinion, we do need to be aware of 2 things. 1 is the risk, and 2 is the price target. So I'm going to talk first about the price target, because it is something which I only just mentioned. So you could be asking yourself, why do we need to talk about the price target once more? Well, like I said, I think a high estimate would be around 90, or maybe even around 60. So I would say about 60 to 90 in my eyes would be a high estimate. I think 60 is absolutely possible, and of course the high end is more around the 90 to $100 $200 range. I think we also should put a low estimate out there, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see this one hit $40 or maybe even $50. I think that is a reasonable estimate for the next 12 months. So right now, I definitely think this one could be a decent buy, but of course, you do need to be aware of the risk. So yes, it is a decent company, and if it is true what we are seeing about revenue into the future, we definitely could be looking at a long-term buy and hold stock to add to your portfolio. I think that absolutely could be the case, but of course we also need to be aware of the people which are, quite involved in the stock at the moment and maybe selling this one post-merger. Now this is something we have been seeing with a lot of SPAC stocks recently, and of course in the past year or so, a lot of people with companies like Helion, let's say, I'm just going to use it as an example, they all bought this stock once the merger was going through, and of course the merger was the main catalyst. And of course as soon as the merger the merger ended, subsequently there was no reason for people to keep holding the shares, and they took profits at around the $60 mark, sending the share price down massively. Now whether this is or is not going to happen with CCIV, in my opinion, is unclear, and of course we have seen conditions in the market before where the absolute opposite has happened. We have seen SPACs which haven't been very hyped for quite a long time, and as soon as the merger goes through, we have seen the stock absolutely take off. So this could happen again with this stock. It just depends on how the next few months move and how much hype we do get into this one. So I am going to be watching this one very closely, but I think right now it could be a fantastic buy. In my opinion at least, I would like to say the dip is over, and even if it was to dip a little bit more, I wouldn't expect it to be by a significant amount. I absolutely do believe we can stay above the $22 mark, if not higher than that, and I would like to see the next week bring us back into the green ever so slightly. So yes, the past 5 days have been quite stable for growth, and I think this is good. Again, if we can remain up in the next week, perhaps by a little bit more, I would be quite happy looking at CCIV. So a lot of potential is in the stock. Please tell me what you think to it down in the comment section. I would love to hear you guys' opinions, so please make sure to drop them. Thank you for watching this one all the way until the end if you are still here, and of course have a wonderful evening, and I will hopefully see you back in tomorrow's episode where we're going to be looking at many more stocks. So again, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye until then.